Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing mono blue tempo with no reserve list cards. You can build this deck for a few $100, and it features this new card from the new Avatar set, Boomerang Basics. It's a 1 blue mana sorcery. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you controlled that permanent, draw a card. So this is a good answer to Tamiyo, for example, because we can just go ahead and defensively bounce aggressive permanents. This is also really good against Murktide, but it's really good if you have something that you actually want to bounce back to your hand so you can draw a card in the process. Stormchaser's talent is a perfect example of this. You pay 1 blue mana, you get a 1/1 blue and red otter token creature with prowess. Then the next turn you can just bounce that right back to your hand and you can cast it, and you can attack for 3 because you just cast 2 spells with your prowess token, and now you've got 2 of them. So this is a really cool just value card as well, and it's so cheap. And if you look at this deck, everything is 1 mana except for Planisphere and Murktide. Aside from that, literally everything is free or 1 mana. So we do have Tamiyo in here. We do have Planisphere, which can get huge when you're chaining cantrips, which we can do because we're playing 3 preordained. We have the end game of potentially using Stormchaser to return something, which is high value, or if we get all the way up to 6 mana, which is possible, we do have 6 islands in the deck that we can fetch and some wastelands. We can basically have the equivalent of a Shark Typhoon going, where whenever we cast a spell, we get another otter, which is really awesome. So this is playing 4 Dismembers, and we are really soft to Bowmasters. We're also really soft to Chalice on 1. So in the sideboard, I've got 3 Piracy Charms. This is a great blue way to kill a Bowmasters. Give it +2, -1 until end of turn, which will kill it, and then we can get Bowmasters off our deck because our deck loves to draw cards. We also have Consign to Memory for Eldrazi. We've got Hydroblast for red matchups. We've got Force Negation for everything else, hopefully stopping Chalice, for example. We're going to play a full 5 rounds. See, in round 1, which has already begun, we're over here, and my opponent said, "Mate, yes, I'm sorry, I kept you waiting while I did the deck tech." Don't know a lot about what the opponent's doing. They did play Reanimator at Eternal Weekend. This hand looks pretty good. Like, the double Murktide is a little disappointing. But we do have mana, and we have this new card, Boomerang Basics. We could do better. We don't really know what we're up against. I think, actually, I'm cool with sending this back because I would like to have a Force or a Daze just in case they are on combo. And unfortunately, we got a no-lander here, so this is going to go back too. My opponent mulled a 6-2, so we're kind of vindicated in mulling. This is the best hand we've seen. I'm going to put back Boomerang Basics just because we don't have anything to bounce. And I think what we're going to want to do is chain cantrips until we get Murktide out. So I'm actually going to put back a land and a Boomerang Basics. And then I'm going to just try to ponder into a Daze. So we got the island. And one great thing about this deck, because it's a monocolored deck, everything's an island, so you don't need to worry about Wasteland. So you can keep 1-landers with relative confidence. Here we got a great series. So what we can do, we're going to take the Daze now in case we need to cast it for something. I'd rather not cast it. And then we can just Tamiyo and we can immediately brainstorm. Oh, well, we can't. We won't have the mana. We could Tamiyo next turn. I think what I'll do is next turn I'll just play the Wasteland for turn. I mean, we're definitely going to be able to cast a cantrip. It's just that we may not be able to play a Tamiyo. Maybe we just cast the Preordain next turn to get it in the graveyard. I don't think it really matters that much. I'm going to hide the Tamiyo in case they Thoughtseize, because that's obviously like a very powerful card that would be very relevant. So I'll do it like this, and we'll draw the Wasteland there. All right, we're going to pass. So we're feeling pretty good here, considering we mulled to 5. Opponent mulled to 6, they dropped to 7. Polluted Delta. Fetch. Don't have to worry about Entomb anymore. Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. Yes. This is fine. I'll let them do this. They may take the Murktide. They do. It's not a big deal. Like, it wasn't going to come out for a while. We can draw another one later. They know about the Daze now, so it'll cramp their style. They may have to play into it. I'm going to go ahead and hit their land. I'm going to preordain, and I'm going to prioritize. I mean, I could brainstorm first and then put one of the cards back. These are both, I don't think I want the force. I mean, they absolutely could be on some degenerate deck, but like we're so low on resources, I'm going to put this on the bottom of the library. I'm going to top this and I'll draw it. We'll hope they don't Thoughtseize this way, but we can daze if they Thoughtseize because I do want to get this on the table. And our deck is very comfortable just playing on one island. It's a level of comfort I haven't experienced in other tempo decks because you always do need to worry about what if they waste me, you know? Another Goyf. I mean, this will get bigger. We probably don't have a land next turn. I'm going to daze it. If they daze back, that's fine too. They do. Okay. No problem. I have the better tempo creature. They have a 3/4. But mine will make theirs largely irrelevant. Assuming it doesn't grow further. All right. Didn't want to draw that. I'm going to Tomio. Next turn, I have Brainstorm Fetch. Assuming they don't have Bowmasters, which they can't have Bowmasters next turn. So I'm glad they fetch, so they definitely won't have Bowmasters. They could Fatal Push this, which would really suck. They're pondering. That's fine. That does put a... No, it doesn't put a new type in. So they're just going to be hitting for 3 here. So I am going to be able to brainstorm with Daze mana up. So we'll take this crack. So we're up against blue-black tempo. There's little ambiguity here. All right, another Tomio, which I can put back. I don't want it. We'll go and attack. So they are a Bowmaster deck, 4x Bowmasters. So I'm going to be bringing in my Piracy Charms. They might force this. They don't. Dismember is perfect to kill this. I don't want this anymore. I don't need the Brainstorm right now. So this comes up. I don't think that they have a daze based on last turn's Tomio, but they could. I think it does make sense to go ahead and kill this now before it can grow. It will be annoying if they follow up with a Bowmaster, but I don't want them to draw a daze. So our life total is low. Giving them a chance to untap increases the likelihood that they'll draw some sort of interaction here. They do have a daze. Okay. Well, Tomio is going to debuff this, and if they attack me instead of attacking Tomio, I'm going to ultimate her before they're able to kill me. So we don't have to worry about Bowmasters here, which is really nice. They're probably just going to have to attack Tommy. They're attacking me. I think they're doing so in error, unless they feel very confident that they can Prismatic End or bounce this back to hand. Boomerang Basics. That's a nice tempo card that we can play. I'm gonna go ahead and ponder first, because if I find a force, I might just hold it up. Did they play a land this turn? I'm tempted to just... I don't want this Force of Will. I did not play a land yet. I think what I do is I just bounce this to hand and then I waste them. But Stormchaser's talent is great in that it's kind of how we win the game. So I could Stormchaser talent. Next turn, I could Boomerang Basics and Stormchaser talent again. The thing is, if I waste them, they may just draw another land, and then they're just back in. What I'm going to do is, I think I am just going to Stormchaser talent next turn. Wasteland stops them from being able to bounce. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take the Waste now. I'll take the Stormchaser talent. Yeah, like that. Okay. So we'll start with the Wasteland. This means that even if they have a thing in their hand, Brace and Borrower, they can't use it. Brainstorming, that's fine. Okay. I'm going to plus. They can't daze anymore. I'm going to go ahead and do this. They could bounce, or they could force from here if they're... Okay. They have no board. I don't think they can have any answer to this anymore. I think we're going to be able to draw our deck. Wasteland. Okay. They can't do anything. We won. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait. Actually, I am going to go ahead and just draw this so that I have a force up in case they try to Bowmaster. Like, if they somehow had Bowmaster, that would be how they win. Okay. That was clean. That's why they need a ban Tommy stat. She's just too strong like that. But my opponent did make a critical error in attacking me instead of attacking Tommy. You always attack Tommy. I'm sorry. I had tons of life. There was no way they were going to beat me before Tommy went off. Okay, so Piracy Charm comes in. Dismember is awkward to play against them because it does so much damage to me. Boomerang Basics can get rid of the Orc Army. It could, in a pinch, get rid of the actual Bowmaster itself. Wasteland was very good there. I think we wasted him twice. Stormchaser talent, I think, is probably the least compelling card here. And the reason it's not very compelling is because it requires us to... like, it puts out a 1-1, which can be Bowmaster pinged, first of all. And it itself, like, they're not actually going to be... We're going to be using our Wastelands the entire time. I'm going to take out the Forces. Is that smart? I would take these out against blue-red, but I'm not sure it's correct to take it out against them. I don't want to take out Dismember, because if they have Baragwaif, like, that's pretty devastating. I think I'll split the difference. I'll take out one Preordain, one Stormchaser, one Force. That is a cop-out, I know. But I didn't really think through exactly how I was going to board. But I do know that the Piracy Charms are going to, you know, help us once the Bowmaster hits. And it's just additional removal. Because of Bowmaster, that's why I want to keep the Forces in. Okay, this is a good hand. This is turn 2 Planisphere and turn 3 Planisphere. And we can, like, if they kill the Planisphere creature, we can just bounce it back to our hand and redeploy it. I'm going to keep this. Now that we know that they're on a fair deck, we don't have to mold a force. We can keep slower hands like this. This does get pretty smoked by Bowmasters, though, so I am worried. Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. Go for it. Our deck does not mind being Thoughtseized in the slightest. They may take the Boomerang Basics because that could return like a Murktide. It can also return like a Tomio that's about to ultimate. I mean, for 1 blue mana, it's great to have an answer to that. Before I was playing Brazen Borrower, which is a good tempo card, but 2 mana is a lot, right? Now that is an instant, but still, you're gonna, like, if you want to just bounce Tommy back to the hand and start it over, it is like paying 2 mana versus paying 1 mana is a big difference in Legacy. Let me tell you, if you're not familiar with Legacy, it is by far the fastest, you know, like just balls to the wall MTG you can play. Other than, like, of course, I'm not sure that that's a good draw. I don't have any reason to, like, I don't have a Surveil or anything. I'll just keep this for a future Brainstorm Shuffle. Wasteland. You will find no quarter here, Wasteland. They obviously have Bowmasters. Okay, I'm just going to waste their Underground Sea, and I'll pass. This will probably bait out the Bowmasters, which I'll just force because it's too awesome of a card against me. Oh, they're brainstorming. Well, that's not scary. Yeah, go for it. I didn't want to have to fight on the stack anyway, because if they had days, they could save their Underground Sea. But, like, this just shows, like, how unfair it is for us to be able to waste them and them not to be able to waste us. And that's the kind of unfair you're looking for. I could just burn off a Brainstorm to get deeper into my deck, but I'm going to keep this up just in case they produce black and they have a Bowmaster. Another Wasteland. Love it. Now Spell Bomb. No big deal. All right. Murktide is fantastic, and we can use the Force and protect it. I think this is just Planisphere. I would like to use these Brainstorms, but, like, they're so much more impactful once Planisphere's out. And if they Force here, it's just another card in the yard. It's not a big deal. They're not going to be able to daze. Planisphere's in. Let's pass. And if we Force, this becomes a 2-2. So even if they... Oh, man, this is a slaughter. This is a demonstration of why this is so strong. Okay, I'm going to go and do like this. I'm not going to ever bother wasting their Wastelands. I just want to waste their colored sources. Let's go ahead and kick things off with this. This is going to grow a lot. It grows twice. These are permanent growth. Dismember... I think I just want to cantrip as much as possible. This doesn't have a target currently. This land goes back for sure. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fetch. I don't want those cards. Then I can preordain. I mean, I could Merc here. It's only a 4/4. But it does use my graveyard. Yeah, let's do it. All right. And now we'll swing for 3. We've got a pretty good board presence. I do have Force Up, but now I don't have Daze protection. If they Daze, or yeah, if they Daze, I can't pay for it. They scooped. Wow. That is one of the top 4 decks in the format. So I'm very vocal. I think the top 4 decks are Blue-Red Tempo, Blue-Black Tempo, Karnforge, and 12 Post. And Blue-Black Tempo is, you know, maybe the strongest overall, but it's not strong against our deck. Round 2, we're on the play against an unknown opponent. This hand doesn't work. Let's ship it. I mean, like, this would be insane if they were on Oops, but we can't count on that. This is a great hand. Got the Stormchaser's talent, Boomerang Basics combo. I'm just going to lead on Tamio. My heuristic is just always lead on Tamio. She's so strong. We'll put back a Preordain. This hand is cracked. Like, I love the fact that we just only need 1 land, and we just play on that 1 land. Now, if they combo us turn 1, it'll be a bummer. We only need 1 land, and it's a land that they can't waste. All right. Do you have the Oops All Spells combo? Ancient Tomb. Don't chalice me. That's a nightmare. There's no answer to this in our deck. Basically, the way we win is we just cast a bunch of spells into the chalice. Yeah, that sucks. I acknowledged in the deck tech that there are 2 major weaknesses to this deck. Chalice of the Void, which is in like maybe 5 or 6% of decks. It's not very well represented right now. And Bowmasters, which is in maybe like 10% of decks. Fury. Okay, they're on Moon Stompy. Well, that sucks. They did just spew their hand, but we've got nothing going on. Really, we're just hoping to draw like land Planisphere, I guess. We do need a second island in case they find a Blood Moon. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we didn't even get to make a clue. They're probably just going to kill us very quickly from here. Okay, no 1 ring. That's nice. Okay, Merc is good. Sorcery, instant. I'm going to start casting these things. Okay. And I guess I could have cast 1 last turn. Maybe I should have. If I draw land, I can still get a Merc out. And Merc is going to be 6/6, which is big enough to do him in pretty quick. Okay, this is Pyro. Okay. Does some damage. If they have another Pyro, it's pretty devastating. But they're down to 2 cards. So Merc, I can still race him with Merc. This is a 3/4. It'll actually be smaller once I have Merc. All right. I don't have a lot of agency here. I'm going to go ahead and just plan on making Merc as big as possible. I'll wait until the end step and I'll brainstorm. And then that'll make Merc bigger next turn. We're going to take the first hit in the face. Their Tomb does do damage to them. If they find a second Pyro, we're dead because they see each other and they double direct damage you. Astrolabe's a nice follow-up, but I need to get this wall down. And I did hold on to the brainstorm there. I could have made it bigger, and I think I'll probably pay the price for that mistake. But like I can grow the Planisphere with the brainstorm at least. Yeah, because like if I block and they have Fury, oh, that's so small now. They're floating 2. Okay, are they going to shock this in? They may have like Megas, or I'm not sure what they're going to cast. If it's Broadside, Broadside is strong enough to kill this. Unfortunate. Yes. If I just made this a little bit bigger, I don't have a choice. They're just throwing it before combat. Yeah, we're dead. I don't even think a second one would save us here. I will go ahead and play with this Planisphere though. Wasteland would be okay. Force of Will might do something here. Next turn, I can grow it twice potentially. If they make the mistake of throwing the Chalice, that's huge, but I don't think they're going to make that mistake. Oh my goodness! If only I had thought before. I definitely should have cast that Brainstorm. But I'm learning. This is my first time playing this exact version of the deck. I played this deck a few times. Like Usually I play a more control-y build. This is like a balls to the wall tempo deck. Nothing in the deck costs more than 2. Everything's 1 mana. There are 8 cards or 7 cards that cost 2 mana, and there are a few cards that cost 0 mana. The forces. If they have like a Mox or something, they can play it out. I'll actually force the Mox if they play it just to grow this. Okay, City of Traders. What is this? Chalice for 2. I'm going to force that. I'll pitch Stormchaser's Talent. No. Yeah, I'll keep the Stormchaser's Talent around. They have 1 card left in hand. They have 1 mana up. They're going to definitely attack. This is no real threat to them. They shouldn't worry about this. They should just keep hitting me. Next turn, I mean, they're like very close to killing me. They're at 11. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm all in. We're going to hit them for 4 here. I'll come in for 4. I don't feel like there's any way we race them. They have Fury. They have anything they can throw it at us. They would have to basically just rip land for us to win. Okay, they're coming in. That's it. Yeah. So this kills this, and then they just throw this at me. All right. So sideboard, I've got a ton of Pyroblasts I'm bringing in. So we'll bring in all 4 Pyros. I'm going to bring in the Force Negations. Cards that come out. I don't like Dismember here. It does technically kill their opponent. Yeah, I actually do. I think I like it. Tomio implies the game's going to go long. I don't think it is. I think we just need to do damage. Murktide's great. The Stormchaser Boomerang Basics is cute. Boomerang Basics can really screw them because they're like using a lot of their mana to get stuff into play. But like, I don't know how I feel about going that low on resources to where we're literally just using Astrologian, Planisphere, and Stormchaser Talent. Daze is pretty good in this matchup. They frequently overextend. I'm going to cut the Preordains. And I'll cut a... Gosh, what do I want to cut? I'm going to cut 1 Stormchaser Talent. Okay, and I'm not cutting any land. Maybe I should cut a land. They're not going to go after my mana at all. I could just cut a fetch. Like, it's not like it's better to actually get the island in my... Yeah, I'm not going to cut an island. I think I'll do that. We did kind of reduce our curve a little bit by just taking out a lot. Like, there's no need to have a lot of mana now with Tomio out of the picture. This is a great hand. Yeah, I can just spend the Brainstorm if I need to. I can fill up the graveyard pretty quick. This second Murktide is redundant, but it could come up where I get to play it. I'll make the first Murktide not grab all the sorceries and instants. I'm hoping they spend a lot of mana on something that I can dismember here. Chrome Mox, sure. I really want them to just run out of cards in hand and be into top deck mode. Babel is a perfect card to Daze. I'm going to add a blue to my mana pool. And then I'm going to bounce this back. If they have the Spirit Guide, I can Brainstorm and maybe find a force for it. I do have a card that I'm willing to burn on a force. Okay, that worked. I'm not going to Brainstorm yet. I'll wait 1 more turn cycle. Another Dismember is not unwelcome. I'd much rather kill a creature before it attacks me. Like Pyrogoyf will do a lot of damage. There's already 3 types in there. Broadside is going to get killed on sight. Okay, they're sacrificing one of their lands, which is nice. This is probably Pyro for 3. The One Ring. Well, I'm going to attempt to find a interaction spell for that. It's way too early in the game to deal with One Ring. We found it. I'm going to put back the Merc. I mean, I'm not sure that I put back the Merc. I think I put back one of the... Do I put back a Dismember? Wasteland may be relevant. I am going to redraw one of these cards. I'm going to put back the Merc. No, wait. I can just pitch cast the Merc. I'm going to put back Dismember, and I'll put back a Wasteland. Now, I am going to force this. And just like that, like with the cracking of this fetch, next turn, I will have the mana to put a Merc in. They're down to 3 cards over there, but importantly, they're down to 2 lands. or 2 mana sources. I am not going to wait for the Wasteland. Oh, wait, I'm not going to wait for the Dismember. I'm just going to go here. Got to go fast like Sonic. Hopefully they don't have Pyroblast in their deck. So this is going to come in as a 6/6 flyer. Blue. And that's why I play 4 Force of Negations. Because, I mean, like, you need to be able to brainstorm into it in a pinch. When you have 8 forces, it's way better than having 4 forces. 8 is worth the sideboard space in your mono blue deck for sure. We're out of Fury range. We're out of Pyrogoyf range. Pyrogoyf is actually piddly now. Okay. Are they going to re-ring? That would suck. Lava Spur. Trini. Fine. You're about to find out what it feels like to be trapped under your own Planisphere. I don't need to cast a spell for the rest of the game. I will actually keep this up though, because I can just force negate their next spell. Or Dismember in the end step. Yeah, I don't think Planisphere is the play against this type of deck. I mean, it does slow down the cantrip chain. I'm pretty unimpressed with this card in general, but we might lose to it. We'll see. Chandra, Torch of Defiance. This is not the one that can be... Chandra deals 4 damage to target creature. And red. This does damage to us. I think it's probably worth going ahead and negating. The one that's 6 mana is uncounterable, unfortunately. Terrifyingly. Hopefully they don't have that. Okay, and now we can go ahead and waste this, which I will do. Okay, let's skip to that. Trapped on their own Trini. Being beaten down by Murktide. On the draw, definitely don't want this land back. I don't think there are any changes. The One Ring, I mean, we could bring in Consign. I don't know. I think actually Consign is better than Daze here. I want to take out the Dazes. I'm going to bring in Consigns. Consign. I mean, there are triggers that we can consign too. And also this can be cast around, what's it called? This can be cast around Chalice because you can replicate and the replicate will still go through. I like this position in terms of we've still got lots of offensive, but yeah, I like this. We still have our Boomerang Basics and Stormchaser talent if the game goes long. I have done level 2 on it before and gotten back a force, which was pretty sweet. I mean, double Wasteland. This doesn't have any interaction though. You have to have turn 0 interaction here. Like this is unaffected largely by, but we're not going to mark anytime soon. This is a mulligan. This is a trap hand. This is the hand. We'll keep. I think I put like Stormchaser talent. It's the weakest of these cards. Astrologian Planisphere is great. We're gonna have to force a Chalice of the Void. Wasteland might be destabilizing enough. The other option is I could just not keep the Wasteland. That way I have double force and I have Hydroblast and we just take a more defensive posture. I actually kind of like doing that better. I know it may seem weird. We've got 17 lands on the deck. It might be a while before we find another one. But this is definitely getting pitched. Like, I'm never going to let my Hydroblast guard down. I actually need to worry about them Blood Mooning here, but there's no way Blood Moon is in their deck, right? That would be catastrophic because I'd have to force that. I am going to force this. They're able to operate. I'm not. And it renders my forces inviable as well. All right, Consign. That's nice. So if they One Ring next turn, that'll be a clean answer to it without having to use the force. This is Chalice for 1. Consign. I love the mana base of this deck, by the way. If you haven't noticed, waxing poetically about how cool it is to just be able to grab your island and just have it for the rest of the game. They do technically have like a destroy target land and they search for land, but we have plenty of lands to search for. Planisphere, okay, we're going to chill. This is not a big deal. They're drawing 1 card per turn. We're drawing 1 card per turn. We can pitch one of these and then we'll have a follow-up threat. This is the easiest Hydroblast in my life. You always counter this spell. It does so much for them. Okay, that's a 1-for-1. So they got 3 cards, we got 3 cards. Dismember is a 1-for-1 as well. so I'll chill. Don't have another Fable. Okay, 4 mana in the pool. I'm going to force this. This is a 2 for 2 because I believe they used a Spirit Guide here. But now we're out of protection. Come on, land. Love it. I'm going to deploy this, and then if they don't do anything, I am going to waste probably. All right, so now is the scary turn where they could broadside us. They did exile a broadside to the Mox. What is this? Okay, now that is a juicy waste target right there. Is it One Ring? Pyro. Okay, well, that's not good. It's a 5/6 hitting our dude. And unfortunately, like, it's just big enough that I can't kill it. I'm going to take them off this just to prevent them from doing even more stuff. I don't care about them doing damage to themselves. I have to get out of this pickle. If I Merc, then this becomes trivial to kill. But it's really just a question, like, do I find a Merc before they kill me with this? My Merc can be big enough that it'll be a 7/7, so it'll be able to block this. And it'll make this tiny, so I'll be able to dismember it. Force negation, not going to do it. Come on, deck. Don't do this to me. I played very disciplined. And I do think this is a great matchup. Okay, we're very quickly dropping out of dismember viability. It needs to be a Murktide now. Unfortunately, we just lost. I'm almost certain of it. Like, we can stand something up in front of it, but it's just a matter of time. If we could bounce it back. I mean, technically all those boomerangs save us here. Come on, deck. They don't have any mana. We just need a freaking card that does something. Brainstorm, set me free. What a slap in the face. All right, whatever. Good games. All right, my 17 land deck produced so many freaking lands. Brainstorm revealed 3 lands. Oh my goodness, when we already had lands in hand. Yeah, like as James Bond, his protege, or I guess his mentor, 006, said in the GoldenEye video game, luck is half of everything. And then James Bond's like, the other half? And the guy says, chance. Iconic line. And that is what happened to us. We got by RNG. Okay, so let's check what our opponent is on. They've been playing blue-red tempo in modern, but they've already mulled. They're on the play. Do I want this passive of a deck hand? I mean, this is not great. This doesn't do anything really. Turn 1, turn 2. It plays out Astrologian's Planisphere into potential days. I don't like keeping double Murktide hands. We kept one last game, or 2 games ago, and it worked out, but yeah, it's not where I want to be. Let's mull. This is my jam. Stormchaser and Boomerang Basics. We don't need 2 Tommies, even though she's great. I mean, we could just keep sticking Tommies, but I'm going to presume we don't need 2. I mean, Tommy's so much better than Stormchaser's talent, though. We can make him deal with it, like, repeatedly. I think I'm going to put back this. I'm going to put back Tommy. I'll just keep a fully novel hand. One of each. But I do think it's a reasonable strategy, certainly on the play. I don't think it's as good on the draw, though. Because, like, they play a Tommy and then, like, here's my Tommy, but they flip theirs first and you're on your back foot forever. But we do have a convenient answer to Tommy-O in our deck. In Legacy, there's probably like a 50% chance that your opponent's playing. Oh, interesting. They're on ninjas. Well, you know what blocks a ninja like none other? Freaking Tommy-O is going to block this Ornithopter. All right, let's do the Tommy-O. Do the Tommy-O. If you ever watched the Doom of the Mario song from the old animated series. Okay. If they push her, it's going to be a bummer because she's like super good. If this fetches for Swamp, I'll know what's coming. Yep. And then Ninja. All right, they had a good hand. Get the real Fatal Push, man. I can't stand this like weird art thing. I'm sorry. This is probably the cheapest one because nobody wants to look at this weird, ugly mess that doesn't look like a Magic card. Okay, which Ninja is it? Getting tempoed by a tempo deck on the draw. We'll get at least one game on the play. That's the great thing about Magic is you always get to play at least one time on the play. All right. They do have a non-basic. You know what? I'm going to show them. I'm going to play the Tomio first. That was a great rip. Back up Tomio. We're going to take this off the table. They can ninjutsu me, but they're going to have less mana to do it. Their deck, if they're playing the stock ninjas deck, which I will never understand, by the way, the mana base is jank. It's like they play like 16 land or something like that, 17 land. So I do have to block the Ingenious Infiltrator. They just don't even bother attacking. So honest. All right, that's a great rip. So here, I mean, we could preordain. And then if we have another cantrip, we could flip. They can still do damage to me, though. So it's not like a totally clean answer. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fetch. I mean, I could just Boomerang Basics back to hand, but it seems like kind of a meh tempo play. Because then they can just ninjutsu it again the second they find a land. I'm going to go ahead and preordain first. I could Stormchaser talent and then Boomerang Basics it back to my hand. And then I have a token in play that can chump for a turn cycle. And I've got a clue. They remove that clue. If they remove the chumper, though, they are going to deal this. I mean, is that really worth it? I don't think that is. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with a preordain. Also, this is a really good card until you realize it's a sorcery, and then you're like, oh, that's quite a drawback. Okay, Daze seems pretty good here. I'll put the other Tomio on the bottom of the library. I'll take it. Okay, and now I think we just Stormchaser talent and we chill for a turn cycle. Because I cannot count as them drawing cards. And now if they try to, I mean, I'd love for them to interact with this. They don't. Okay. And it is not in my nature to not attack, but I'm not going to attack. Like Tomio wants to study so hard. She's like, is it Monday morning yet? Can I please go to school? Okay. No plays. That Wasteland. And the fact that they play so greedily few lands. If they're playing the stock build. By the way, how sick is that swamp? Okay. All right. If we play this out, then they're going to know. I do want to start attacking. There's no way. Let's think about this. I Boomerang Basics. I think I just do that. See what I draw? So this buffs this, but I need to get it all the way up to like a 3/3 before it would matter. That is one of the problems with the Otter is it just doesn't do that much. We're living on borrowed time. I think they do play 4 Bowmasters in that deck. I want to get these draw triggers out of the way. Okay, no response. Give me my thing back. They're forcing. That's a huge win. Kaito into the exile? I seriously question that decision. Well, that definitely makes me happy that I can do this. Boop. And now this is attack worthy. So I'm going to come at you for 3. If we draw a land, we don't. We do draw a dismember. I mean, I think I just dismember this now. And then attack with abandon. This is going to be hitting him for 4. Nice. Well, let's come in with both. Again, like if they get a ninjutsu attack on me, that's fine. I want this clue. I want to flip my Tommy. It's important to note that ninjutsu, they can... with ninjutsu, they can... they basically get in under Tommy. They're just holding back. This is great. Wow. And you know how I was mocking the mana base earlier? I'm so happy that it turned out this way. Like I've been agitating for them to not play like that for a while. Okay. So that's 2. I think we jam. And I am going to go ahead and crack the clue now, just because I don't want to face a Bowmaster. Okay, that's fine. Just in case I have that one, like, Hacker Ninja or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's Moon Circuit Hacker. Yeah, I'll play this out. Okay, cool. So we're just going to keep them, like, if they have any non-basics that they fetch, we're going to keep them down. We have 4. We can regrow a Dismember if we want. We can regrow a Boomerang Basics, which actually seems pretty awesome. There's a Dismember. I think it's fine to just flip her this turn. I'm going to attack with everything, and they might be scared to block because I could easily trigger Prowess. They are opting not to block. Okay. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and draw my cards. Draw. Force. Nice one. All right. Tommy flips. Planisphere. We'll do them in quite quickly at this level of mana. So we can regrow like one of the cantrips. Okay, they did final land finally. They may be able to attack Tommy and do some damage. But it's going to be like one of the weaker ones. This is attacking Tommy, I presume. You're crazy if you're attacking me. I think this is... They must have one that like draws cards or something. Okay, that's fine. You get to draw a card. I'm actually going to daze the Ornithopter here. I just want to... Yeah, I'll just daze it. I don't do that lightly, but... You know, it is like a game piece. Now they have no defense. If I can just storm them, it's going to be pretty good. All right, that's not too great. So let's think about this. We could dismember. We need to get up to 5 strength on each of them. Dismember's 1. I don't have a brainstorm in the yard. That's what I would really like to get. Oh, I can get back Boomerang Basics. And then I can just replay it. I think that's good. We're going to do so much damage to them. Boomerang Basics. Hit this. They grow. Land. Play this out. They grow. Get another dude. Dismember. 1, 2. Ouch, ouch. They grow. They're going to go to 1 here. They won't even be able to force anymore. That's dead. They said, cool deck. Thanks. I appreciate it. All right. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm having fun. I love 1-drops. Like, I am a sucker for 1-drops. What can I say? So Piracy Charm comes in for sure. I think it's the only substitution. Dismember hurts, but it's very necessary in this matchup. It's worth noting that this can also give Island Walk Piracy Charm. So we can give like our Planisphere Island Walk to walk through their creatures and kill a Kaito, for example. On the draw, I think we can cut an island. I'm also going to cut some dazes. That's not the fight. I mean, if I'm cutting dazes, maybe I want to cut the island too. I don't think they play Stifle or anything like that. I guess I'm reducing, or I'm slightly increasing the average mana value of my deck. So boarding in the island is fine. And then we just take out yet another daze and we just have the 1 spicy daze. I did do some cool like on the draw daze action, I think in one of the previous rounds, but generally you don't want a lot of dazes in your deck on the draw. This is another 1 mana hand, but we can be very confident that our mana is going to resolve. We're going to at least get a Stormchaser talent out of it. We can also ponder for a second land. Their deck hits hard and fast, though. I genuinely think that we could be dead before we get to do anything. Bowmaster is particularly icky against this. I think I am in a mull. Oh man, this is a bad hand. It's not a terrible hand. I'll put back one of the fetches. I actively want to preserve my life total because I'll probably have to dismember. All right, and now we have Stormchaser's talent. We have Planisphere into. Oh, I'm just gonna waste that. If they don't put a land in the graveyard, I'm just gonna waste. Sight unseen. They mulled to 6. They actually have a ton of basics in their deck. Like their deck is trying to do what my deck is, but the problem is a 2-color deck. My deck doesn't have that problem. My deck just can play islands for everything. But they are playing like an Underground Sea and an Undercity Sewers, and sometimes you just get lucky and snag those. They said Wasteland Tribal. Okay, there's the black. One of the 2 colors. Okay, this... I probably should have forced that, actually. I think that might be the only spell I could have forced. Yeah, I think I screwed up. Piracy Charm? Dismember. Okay. So I'm not going to wait for them to untap. I'm just going to go for it now. And if they fight, I will force. Okay, they didn't fight. Next turn, I have Astrologian's talent, Planisphere. And then I'll Stormchaser talent and Brainstorm. They're shocking that in. I love it. Ornithopter. I will let that resolve. I probably could have fought that too. It's hard. Like forcing a 0-drop. Is that really what you want to be doing? That Brainstorm's fine. Brainstorm often results in Brainstorm luck. I'm much more likely to force like a critical ponder than I am to force a Brainstorm. They're going to redraw at least one of these cards. Unless they have like a Lorien revealed. Okay, ponder. So this is just Planisphere for sure. And then we'll force the Bowmasters. If they force, I might force back. They don't force. Okay. I really think I hold my force for specifically, by the way, they don't have days up. I'm not sure how many days they play, but they don't have it currently. Okay, this is probably going to result in that one ninja, unfortunately. I should have probably forced that. Okay, yeah. Yuriko. All right, well, she's easily blocked. Thankfully, she doesn't have any form of evasion. Let's see how much damage do we take. The card revealed was an Ornithopter. Okay. And Ornithopter's back. Ornithopter does have natural evasion. So does that one that we dismembered. The Changeling Outcast. Tomio is pretty chill. I can actually just Tommy. I'm worried about the freaking Ornithopter now. So my thinking here... Yeah, I am going to just Tommy and Flipper. I would love to crack clues, but I don't feel like I have the luxury. This is going to double proc this, assuming it resolves. If they force, I might actually force back because that might imply they have nothing. Oh, wow. So I don't want this island. I think Merc is going to be pretty sweet. It's a turn away. I think Stormchaser is not necessary here. Okay. I'm going to hold this back just to defend Tommy. No, that doesn't really make any sense. I'll plus here. I think I do start hitting them. I'll play out the land. I kind of want to just do more damage. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. Like, if they are able to put in Kaito, Kaito can practically kill Tomio, which really sucks. And then it can stun this. Yeah, I'm going to do this just because like it'll feed the Merc next turn. I'm going to try to find a blue card for force. This black card, this Wasteland is very appetizing. I'm going to take it next turn. I'll also take Boomerang Basics right now. Specifically to help. And I am going to attack here. There's no way that Yuriko is attacking. Because she can't do damage. Because Tomio is overpowered as heck. And largely his invalidated deck's like my opponent's deck. So next turn we waste them off their blue source. But they probably will have a Kaito. Oh, okay. So now we're not... The Wasteland's no good. But I still think it was a defensible take with the Boomerang Basics. If they clear this, I can bounce this back to hand and get reroll my Astrologian's Planisphere. They only have 3 cards in the hand. They skipped their attack step. They're hemming me? What is this? Shield's Edict. That is a pretty easy force for me, but they do have the potential of dazing it, unfortunately. This buffs this. It's incredible. Like, this card is just cracked. Okay, we stopped it. Their own Tomio. All right. I think I do... I'm drawing a fetch. I could just take a ponder here, and I know I've got a... No, I'm going to plus, because I don't want Yuriko sweating me. Okay, so I'm going to go blue, blue. Let's think about this. Yeah, I want to make it big, but it's likely that it could get bounced or stunned. So maybe I do want to just get lands out and have it be relatively small. It doesn't need to be that big. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Then we're going to go blue, blue. And I would like to go full, like max them out, but I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just make it a 4-4. I'm not going to regrow the Brainstorm, I don't think, but I might regrow the Dismember. So now Tomio can't attack profitably. I'm going to attack with my 5-5. I could hold back just for Tomio, but like if they find another Shield's Edict, I'll be sad that I didn't do that. I just waited around for her to ultimate. They're fetching to 6. So they don't have particularly good attacks here. If they attack Tomio, I'm absolutely blocking it. They are. So they're just, this is kind of a desperation play. They may have a Brainstorm in hand. They're going to flip her immediately, or they're just drawing a clue immediately. All right. Let's see what they do here. Ouch. That's got to hurt. Another Ornithopter. They can keep us at bay for a while. I do think we just plus and we attack with everything. There's no need to show them the last card in our hand. I could minus and get a Dismember. But Yuriko's debuffed. They're going to need like a Kaito. Yep. If they had Brainstorm or anything like that, they would have cast it to save Tomio. They take 4. They're 2. Tomio's about to ultimate. They need to attack with Ornithopter. Okay. And so what they would need to do is they need to attack, hit Tamio, swap in Kaito. That's what they're doing. That'll knock some loyalty off her. And then they stun the Merc, and then they chump here. The only problem is that's not going to work because what I'm going to do is I'm going to regrow my Dismember, and I'm just going to Dismember this and attack with this for lethal. They'll need to have something to stop the Dismember effect. They have the Ornithopter. Yeah, that does technically block. Okay. Okay, Ponder. Ponder grows this. I think I'm going to Ponder first, see what I draw. I think Dismember is a really good card here. Piracy Charm doesn't do it. Do we just want to take the Force just to be able to keep them off our back? I don't think so. Oh, I can just use Piracy Charm, give this Island Walk. Okay, I'm going to do that. Yeah, unless they daze. And I'll put the other Ponder on top. Oh, I can Piracy Charm, and if they counter it, I can just redo it. Target creature gains Island Walk. I think this is the first time I've ever cast Piracy Charm on the channel, but it's winning the game. That resolved. Incredible. That felt so good. All right. We're 2-1. Losing barely to Moon Stompy. Round 4, we're up against a Doomsday opponent. We're on the play, but we have to mull this no-lander. This hand doesn't do anything. Our opponent is likely Doomsday. Let's take a look. This is what they've been playing lately. This was from like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. There are creatures in here. It's playing a total of 16 lands. I think this is a keep. I'm going to put back the Boomerang Basics, and I'm just going to keep a very boring hand. This is exceptionally boring. But we're just going to persist and let them shoot their shot and then hopefully disrupt them. Like a lot of times after the Wasteland, they won't expect to have all their lands, or after a Doomsday, they won't expect you to have double Wasteland. And I've gotten many Doomsday opponents that way. I'm just going to chill. To my knowledge, they're not playing Bowmasters. We'll know before I put the Brainstorm on the stack and the instep. And a lot of that will be depending on what they do here. I may not need to put back any cards. They've been a daze. They have a basic island. Now they can pay for... Okay, Dark Ritual. Unfortunately, they're going to be able to pay for the Doomsday here. So I'm going to Brainstorm first. Desperately looking for a Force and a blue card, ideally, so I can also daze. All right, I'm going to put these Dismembers back. They do not... Well, I'll put these 2 lands back. They do even less. Yeah, that sucks. So what I'm going to let them do is... I mean, I think they've already won, unfortunately. It sucks. Yeah, it sucks. I have nothing to say. If they get greedy and try to don't empty their pile completely, I can Dismember. I think probably keeping the second Dismember was a mistake. But, like, what does the next turn look like? Because realistically, we're going to get one turn. We waste their Undercity Sewers. They're going to find the land. I mean, they saw the Brainstorm. They saw the island. They're definitely going to go get the Cavernous Holes. And then, even if we waste this, they're still going to have blue off of this. And we're not going to be able to counter. So it is frustrating when your opponent that has 4 copies of Doomsday has it. Because usually you should have to mulligan several times or at least cast some cantrips to find it. But they will occasionally have Doomsday. And it's kind of like an AB card. The best way I've heard the deck described is Max Torsion has said Doomsday is a blue deck that splashes triple black. And so really you do need the Dark Ritual and the Doomsday in your hand. And that is... About 16% of hands are going to have both of those cards in them. So it's not super common. And if I recall, the hand I threw back didn't do anything either. So it was like, it's not like I mulled like, was it a no-lander? I can't remember. Actually, I think I mulled the no-lander into this. And you never keep a no-lander even against combo. I've learned that lesson over the years. I think Boston Roll said like in one crazy matchup, he actually did keep a no-lander, like in the finals of like a big tournament. But I think that is exceedingly rare that you would do that. Like if you knew your opponent was on oops or like Necrodominus or something like that, and you knew that only turn 0 mattered and it didn't matter what happened after that, you could keep a no lander. But even oops will sometimes not keep it, will take some time, to do what they're doing. But they can infer the following. I don't have counter magic. Because if you have counter magic, you always force the Doomsday. You never take your chances. Okay. They finally finished their pile building. All right. So let's count. So I use Buffalo Chicken Dip FOP, an overdressed chicken dip participant at the Legacy Tournament Series. Are they just going to go now? Okay. I don't even have to look if they're just going to go now. It's fine. Edge of Autumn. Unfortunately, that's the land that I was going to force. Brainstorm. I could daze this to slow them down, but it doesn't do a lot to slow them down. I think I'm going to do it because what are they going to get? I could daze a pedal. I could do a lot of stuff here. I don't think I'm correct to daze here. I need to wait. They have not played a land yet. Oh my goodness. What if they do go for it here? I'm going to let them do it. They got greedy. All right, so I'm going to let it resolve, and then I'm going to kill it. Still 2 cards left in the deck. I didn't check to see. It doesn't matter. Like, this is our shot. We're shooting it. All right, we'll daze back. Incredible. They got so greedy. Oh, my goodness. We got so lucky that they were so greedy. Like, you always clear the pile. Like, I could have been playing blue-white. I could have had a plow. I mean, I was pausing like I had some sort of interaction. So I think they gave us that one. We'll count ourselves lucky. Force negation comes in. Consign actually can stop the trigger if they're too cavalier. Let's talk about what is not particularly good here. Dismember. I don't believe in dismember. It doesn't even kill the thing, the big thing. I think we just need to get a bigger creature on the table, which we can absolutely do. We've shown that dismember. Now they're going to be hyper aware of it. They're going to be hyper aware of days. We could trim days. I'm going to trim an island. I still want to be able to fetch and thin my deck. We want to do fun, cute stuff, but if we're up against a freaking merciless combo deck that tries to turn to you, yeah, man. I don't know what to take out. Tomio's good in games that go longer, and these could go longer. Stormchaser talent gets on the table quick, and it does damage quickly, so I value it. Maybe I don't need all these consigns. It didn't. I didn't look to see how many rings they play. I think they play 0 rings. I just didn't even look at their cards because they were moving quickly, and usually I do go through and systematically catalog, but I felt like so hopeless. I thought we were dead for sure. I like Boomerang Basics a lot because it is an answer to a Resolve Murktide. It is an answer to a Resolve Shieldred, and they can rarely redeploy because they use their Petals and Dark Rituals to deploy. I think there's a decent chance I'll have to hold up resources, so I may not want a second Planisphere, so I'll cut that. But if I can do the 1 mana stuff where I'm if I can play on 1 land, it's totally fine with me. All right, this is a great hand, except it doesn't have a freaking island. I mean, double force. If they get squirrely, I think I keep it. No, I don't feel comfortable. I'm gonna mull. This is not a good hand, but it's better that we at least have land. I'll put back one of these lands. The fetches, we're not worried about our life total, and they fill up our yard for Merc. It sucks. We'll have to brainstorm to fix this. Tommy is super annoying. She's going to take over the game very quickly. I don't have a good answer to her. I'm just going to force. This may seem extremely desperate, but I do feel extremely desperate here. I'm going to keep the brainstorm to fix our hand 2 turns from now. If they just daze back, it's catastrophic. Yeah, they have their own force. She's going to take over the game completely. I have 0 interaction other than just bouncing her back to my hand. But I'm not worried about the ultimate. I'm worried about the clues. If the game goes long, they can just sit around and crack clues. So just to be clear, that was a good force because they forced back. They value Tommy similarly. They know she's going to be really important here. Do they have a brainstorm? They don't. Okay, that's actually even scarier, like I said. I'll play this out just in case they daze. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm main phase. These are not bad cards. I don't need these lands anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle. And I'm just going to immediately ponder. I'm not going to... Like, Consign is what you hold up once they've Doomsdayed and they pass the turn. I'm not going to hold up mana for Consign until that moment. Planisphere with a Brainstorm. I can't protect the Planisphere if they have a daze. This is above average. I just shuffled away a bunch of land. I think this is totally fine. I'm going to take the Planisphere. I'll take the Brainstorm last. I'm going to take the Force Negation now in case I have to double force some sort of craziness. But like, if I were them, I would just hang back and take my sweet time. I'm presenting zero pressure. They can just crack clues all day long. Like, just ride that Howling Mine until they got 6 or 7 cards, then Doomsday. But if they get impatient and try to go for Doomsday now, they can still blow my hand, but I will have a Planisphere and a Brainstorm following it. I'm hoping Planisphere resolves, first of all, and then that it can layer on sufficient pressure. Wasteland doesn't do anything against my deck. They're cracking a clue. Okay. They're up to 4 cards. Every turn that passes, their card volume goes up. Does this resolve? It's in. That's great. I don't think they have removal in their deck, so we are going to be able to dance. We're going to be able to party. I'll hold the Brainstorm, and then I'll just Brainstorm 2 turns in a row, and she'll be like a 5/5, and she'll be doing some serious damage. Baragoi for something like that would be pretty scary here because I don't have interaction. Oh, they do have Fatal Push. Well, I'm going to attempt to protect. I haven't seen a Doomsday deck with Fatal Push in a while. It's not common. Especially because they didn't know what we were doing when they boarded. We could have been Omnitel. So I'm surprised that they brought that in. I guess Omnitel doesn't generally play Dismember. Okay, Surveil. They are piling a bunch of stuff away for a big Merc, though. That would be scary. Okay, they're passing. I'm going to Brainstorm. If they have Bowmasters, I don't expect them to have it, but it would be catastrophic. They don't have it. I don't want a second Planisphere. I guess what I can do is I can just ponder and maybe keep that Brainstorm. I do want to cast another spell here. Murktide is the kind of thing that is a great follow-up. If they Thoughtseize, I don't want them to take my Murktide because if they clear this, then I'll need Murktide to drive us home. So we still have interaction up, but it's Force Negation and we don't have Daze Protection because they got Greedy and Pondered. I don't think that was a problem. We did more damage there, but it might be a problem here. Okay, they cracked the clue. And it's worth noting they could have cracked the clue last turn and flipped her. They're intentionally not flipping her so they can get a head on cards, which is scary because they're playing with a scary level of competence. Douthie, I don't care about. I'm going to erase them. Douthie can't block. The scary thing that Douthie can do is I put a Force Negation in and they just don't attack with Douthie and they keep the Force Negation up by not tapping him. Dark Ritual. Okay, and here's the Doomsday maybe. Oh, is this Shieldred? Clue. That's fine. They are. Wait. Why do they do that? What are they doing? They're going to Doomsday now? Like this plays into my days. If I had a days. I don't have a days, but wait. Brainstorm? Yeah, I don't care. I'm totally not interested in dealing with Tomio here. They drew a ton of cards though. That's what I'm scared about. Okay, they plus. I'm just going to be attacking their face. I know in a previous round I didn't attack Tomio and I said, you always attack Tomio. But my opponent is a Doomsday gamer. Thoughtseize. Go for it. This does 2 damage to them. Okay, they've got Force Negation in the yard. Bowmasters. That's scary. I'm not going to lie. Okay, wow. They just had it all. And it's because they were able to build up so many clues. I think here they have 1 card left. If it stays, it stays. I think I need to send at them and see if they, in their hubris, don't block. I could attack Tomio and it's basically force block. I think they will block. Yeah, I'm going to attack Tomio. I would love to use these Brainstorms. Wait, I attack them It would only be a few extra counters. I think they just block with the Orc Army here. Okay. Blue, blue. Full-size boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they daze, that's it. Oh, they didn't daze. Okay. You're telling me there's a chance. We've got a flyer. They can regrow. They can't regrow force, the force of negation to fatal push to kill my hero. It's worth noting that I could just equip the Planisphere to this, and then I can brainstorm, and this will be huge. They need to deal with this immediately. This will be big enough to kill them in the air. Shield of the Edict would kill it, unfortunately. Barry. I can ignore Barry. I think I can win here, if that's all they have. Oh no, I don't have the mana to equip the Planisphere to the Merc. I need to equip the Planisphere to the Merc and then also attack with the Merc. They're in an extremely dominant position now. I did look at the top cards, right? They're not land. I would need to draw a land to do the Astrologian Planisphere on the Merc trick. They're regrowing a Ponder. Okay. Okay, so now I can attack for a lot. If I could just get one more counter on that somehow. Oh my goodness, what do I do here? This is big enough that we attack as a force block, and they have to block with either Baragoyf or Orcish Bowmasters. We just ignore Tamio for the turn cycle. I'm going to go ahead and do this. They have 2 cards in hand. They don't have any untapped mana. Let's attack all at them. So they're going to drop to 1 here. They won't be able to fetch. They won't be able to force. They could block with Baragoyf, and it'll trade with his token. That's the only way they survive. In my exile, I have a force negation, which is not relevant to what we're doing here. Okay, so this is a great trade. They are going to gain some life, but I cleared the Baragoyf. They're still low in life. I have this out. I can actually equip this and then brainstorm, and it will grow faster than Bowmaster can ping it down. So we're not in a terrible position. I think they're going to need another Baragoyf. They may have it. Ponder. I feel like they made this way harder for themselves than they needed to. I feel like there was definitely like a simpler way to play this. Like they could have kept just plussing Tamio. They got really greedy just trying to cantrip so much last turn. Maybe they're trying to find a Doomsday win so they can just ignore the fact that I'm about to kill them with a Murktide. They have enough cards that they may be able to just win. Their own Murktide would be scary. I would need to find the Boomerang thing. There's a Brazen Borrower. Okay. Okay, that's greedy. That's so greedy. Okay, and they realize the greed. Gonna let that through. That's fine. Okay, Force of Will is definitely a good pickup. Okay, so let's think about this. They did plus here. Next turn they have this out, so Merc is less good. So we attack. They put the Bowmaster pings on this. We brainstorm. It buffs it. Yeah, it's super awkward. Super awkward. So, yeah, the Bowmaster pings can keep up. Even if I brainstorm again, it's not going to save her. I think the simplest thing to do is probably just to equip here. Pass the turn. And then with the double on it, like next time I brainstorm, it'll be really good. But like I realize how brittle this looks. They could also just reroll a Fatal Push here, but I will force that. Like I'm going to keep this token alive. Forcing will grow it too. Brainstorm again. Just coming in like that. That's fine. They must have found something. I don't know what they're going to do over there. They have tons of mana. They're on Murktide. I think this is a force. I'm going to pitch one of these brainstorms. So this grows the token twice. Okay. Do they have a force for this or a daze even? Where are their dazes? I feel like I haven't seen any dazes out of them. And I've been like low resource the entire time. Ever since I made the decision, the fateful decision to shuffle away the land, which would have allowed me to equip Astrologian Planisphere and kill my opponent. If I'd had 3 land that turn. Okay, they're going to 5. We're at 10 life. They have a backup Tamio, which will serve as a chumper. So that was their last card in hand. All right. Stormchaser. This is good. Play it out. I think I just attack them and gets debuffed, and then I brainstorm, and then they die. If they don't block. I think they're going to just chump. If they go to 1, they're crazy. Okay, they block. All right. And now we wait. Tommy is going to go up again. They'll be able to play this out, but this can't block. They may have to block with Orcish Bowmaster this turn cycle. But that will give them the ability to Tamio Ultimate. And I believe I'll die. I don't believe I'm going to outmuscle a Tamio Ultimate. But once... Oh, what? Why'd they scoop? You have a pretty good board presence. Okay, I'll take it. But like, I feel like there was a lot of game to play. Okay, they're gone. Yeah, I asked them why they scoop, but they yeah. I mean, like, if you think about it, they have... I mean, maybe they just ran out of creatures, the Merc and the Beargoyf, and they just weren't drawing anything that would eventually be able to keep this down. I feel like they plus here. They block with Orcish Bowmasters. They could play this out. I mean, they have us dead in 2 turns if we're just chilling. This, I don't think, is that threatening of a permanent. Because, yeah, like, it's not going to let me draw cards because they already disconnected. I feel like I should have lost this game. Now, wait, was that game 3? I think that may have actually been game 3. Oh, yeah, I won 2-0. So that they weren't going to win the other one. There's no way I was going to let them win that. All right. I'm going to go get my kids ready for bed, and I'll be back in ASMR mode, and we'll do the final round. I'm having a blast. I hope you are too. All right, we're heading into the final round. Looking at the... we're 3-1, having only lost to Stompy. In fact, we haven't even lost games to these other decks. And that Stompy one, I think the first game I punted by not delving for the full amount with the Murktide, and we might have actually been able to win that one too. So I like this build a lot. We've got a pretty well-rounded hand here. We've got Planisphere, and I plan to just deploy Planisphere on turn 2, and then if they plow it, I can Boomerang Basics back to hand and keep it flowing. Opponent is on an unknown deck, but they generally play fair decks. They're not a combo gamer. Marsh Flats. This is most likely the Mardu Energy deck. Force, maybe a good draw. We don't necessarily need the Brainstorm here. Because if we draw a land, it's probably okay because we're going to be wasting them. All right. So yeah, I definitely think they're on the red-white deck. I will force before I daze because I'm going to be able to waste, and I don't want to. I do want to deploy this. I could just dismember this end step. I think that's fine. Oh, I can't. I can't dismember it end step. Oh no. I punted. Yeah, because it protects itself during the end step. Okay, well, we'll do something else here. I am going to have to dismember it. I think what I do is I probably waste and dismember. But I do need to get this off the table, especially with drawing that daze. I've got a couple turns where I can just disrupt them and trade 1-for-1 with these dazes. So I think it'll work out all right. If they play like a basic land, I'll be disappointed. But if they don't have a land, I'll be grateful that I... well, there's a Wasteland that doesn't do anything. This is going to daze again. I have learned to really respect Voice of Victory in this deck, especially. I don't think it's a great card in general, but it's good in this deck for sure. All right, and we can just chill and wait for a land. Okay. I think this is just a ponder. We set up the next turn. I don't like these cards. I want to land. I mean, like, I could Stormchaser talent, and then... Dismember is good. And since we're most likely going to daze again, they'll try to play something. I could Stormchaser talent, and then I could Boomerang Basics the Stormchaser talent back. I do think I can draw through these, and this Dismember is nice. But it means that we're not going to deploy Astrologian's Planisphere for a while, so I'll probably just hold that. Or I'll probably pitch that to Force. So what we're really doing is we're going pretty heavy on Stormchaser talent and getting 2 of these out and just dealing with this, on the stack or with Dismember, whatever threats they present. Caracas. I think I forced Guide of Souls. Pitching Astrologian's Planisphere. This card is really good. Okay. I mean, I could have just dismembered it, but now I can deploy my Stormchaser talent. If they have a Bowmaster, they don't have black, but Bowmaster is a thing that can take care of this. I can always Daze or Protect, and then the Bowmaster ping can't kill it, but I don't like that line. Bowmaster is the scariest thing they could play here. Okay, that's not black. All right, we're going to get a 2-for-1 here. This is great. All right, and they're down to 1 card. Let's Boomerang Basics. Get this back to hand. It's a sorcery. We have Force now. We're still waiting for land number 2. Wasteland. Okay, they've got all the mana. We're going to be pitching Daze to the Force here. Oh, Wasteland. I take them off red for sure. All right, Stormchaser's back in. We got our dude. I can dismember this. Let's dismember it. We'll come in for 2. And this is just a showcase of how that I can function on 1 mana. We've dazed once. This is a guaranteed 2-for-1 basically. I'm going to let this resolve. I don't care. Like, they take either of these. Yeah. I don't have any proactive stuff to do though. I think this actually is a place where I just want to flip Tamio. I'm going to go ahead and get the island. Tamio is insane against their deck. I'll just wait for them to Caracas, and then I'll brainstorm. They're doing it. And now I can force a Plow or a Solitude or whatever. So they did deprive me of the ability to use it, but these cards are great. We're low in life, but Dismember will help keep us alive. It's just a bunch of cantrips. I mean, if I'm going to shuffle anything away, it's the Daze. It's not going to do anything in this matchup, I don't think. With all those Wastelands, they have nothing to aim them at. I'll just do it like that. All right. And it's going to take an extra turn because of the Caracas. But I'm glad they don't have red. Static Prison is about... they're just going to let it go, I guess. Keep the energy. Okay. They played a land for turn. That's great for me. All plus here. I think... We know we don't want the Daze, so we could just preordain here. It's the weakest one. Wasteland actually... Is that useful? No. I don't want either of these cards. Galvanic Discharge could be a pain here. Oh, I got a land. Okay, that's not fantastic. I could just go ahead and brainstorm and rearrange some cards while we don't have to worry. Well, my hand's fine. If I get 1 more land, I can Stormchaser to regrow one of the cards. I think I'm just going to chill. Galvanic Discharge can hit Planeswalkers, right? Yeah. Okay. Johnny. So I do have to kill this on the stack. So I'm going to do that. Let's pitch this Ponder here. Because what they can do is they can Caracas it back. So we'll take a natural draw here. Planisphere is great. I'm going to go ahead and deploy that. I think I could go ahead and just brainstorm now. I might hit a Wasteland. It's not really that great. I think I'll chill. If they have Bowmasters, I can brainstorm in response and keep that out of... And then we have a threat. But they have to have black mana before they can Bowmaster. What does this do? Whenever this creature or equipped creature attacks, you get an energy. Then it gets +X/+O until it exceeds the amount of energy you have. Reconfigure. Pay 2 or 3 energy. Okay, so you can equip it essentially, but it's a 3/3. Okay, and I can just dismember this. And then I'll just incept dismember. I'm giving up the ability to search. I am putting myself in Lightning Bolt range. I don't know that they play Lightning Bolt. They may just play Galvanic Discharge here. Okay. Another Tommy. Doesn't really help us. I do want to brainstorm that away. I'm going to start with the brainstorm. If I chain cantrips a lot, I could do some major damage here. So we'll put this back. Put this back. We preordained both of these away. Bottom. Bottom. Preordain was actually a pretty decent cantrip here. I can save this for next turn. I'm going to go ahead and hit them. I don't need to save this for next turn. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Some max damage. Force would be a great find just to protect the queen here. Boomerang Basics is not terrible. Boomerang Basics buys this back. Yeah, I think we just keep the Boomerang Basics here. It also like bounces anything they may draw. All right, let's come in for 6. Pretty good. So we've got our backup plan if they're able to clear Talmio. Query, they can use this to get back a creature. However, none of these have haste. Also, it'll be a token that I can just Boomerang Basics. I don't think we're dead here. They could get back a Johnny. Okay, they're getting back that. Yeah, it doesn't have haste. So I'm just going to start by drawing my deck. And then I'm just going to Boomerang Basics this and hopefully do enough damage. So this gets a trigger. I will play out... I can play out a giant Merc here. That's a good blocker. I can waste one of their... I could probably waste that Caracas. I'm trying to think. Like, if I can't equip this... Oh, so if I play this out, yeah. I think it's just, like, I can't kill them this turn, I don't think. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I guess I just waste here. And I'll just play this out. Just in case they somehow attack me, I can wait a turn cycle and kill them. But if they have like a plow, they could clear this. But I have lots of forces. I think it's fine. I'll just chill. They may be playing to the clock. They had another Caracas. Okay, so that was the mystery card. All right. Let's go ahead and just kill him. All right. Sternly in control. That came out great. I like this deck a lot. My goodness. Look at how many Wastelands they weren't able to use. And they're playing like a 3-color deck, at least 2 colors. By the way, I'm not in ASMR mode because I got a good night's sleep. I decided to just relax and hang out with my wife and not try to whisper while I played late at night. So Hydroblast comes in. I'll just bring all 4 of those in. Piracy Charm could come in. They have a lot of X1s. And then I think I take out the Dismembers if I'm doing that, but Dismember is pretty slick. I mean, it did a lot of work there. I think I take out the Dazes because we're going to be on the draw, and they're probably going to respect them. So that leaves 3 cards that we need to pull. I think with double native... Yeah, I think I'm actually going to pull out the Tamios. I don't like her in this matchup. I'll keep one of the Dazes because they have a whole lot. I mean, Tamio's insane, actually, against the... If they start going wide with cats, I do need to keep Tamio. But she's bad against Bowmaster. She's obviously bad against Caracas. If I don't have a Brainstorm, I can't flip her. Maybe I take her out on the draw, and then on the play, I bring her back in. But then on the play, I'm also planning to bring the Dazes back in. I could take out the Forces and just hope that our removal is enough. That feels naive. I don't think I can do that. On the draw, I can pull out an island. I mean, we've seen how incredible this deck functions on 1 mana. I think I'm going to keep the island in. No, I'm not. I mean, I pulled out the Dazes, so it is like a little less good to just be stuck on 1 land. I'll keep it. I mean, I think we just take out all but one of the Tamio. Yeah, we'll try that. I mean, Tamio is great, but I think the way we win is we just get a big creature that they can't answer. This is a bad matchup, and I feel really happy that we were able to color screw them the way we did. I think maybe they're a lot more white than I thought they were. Like, I saw some red. I didn't see any black. And I believe they did play everything out. Oh, this is a pretty solid hand. There's a lot of aggression. Our opponent's probably thinking, I need to kill them quickly. Guide. I don't have an easy answer to that. Unfortunately, that's a very powerful creature. If you want to watch some Guide of Souls action, check out my channel. I've got tons of leagues with Guide of Souls and Ocelot Pride in a tempo shell. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and stick this. Get on the board. They're gonna be able to gain life, so it will slow down our offensive. If they also have the Pride, it's pretty disastrous. Caracas. Okay. They can attack. I'm gonna take it. And now I have an island out, so they may not play a 2-drop. My goal is to fill up my graveyard as quickly as possible here. Yeah, I think they... I'm trying to think of a 2-drop that they would have here. I think I just jammed the Planisphere. Double white. I mean, it could be like Felia, which would be really brutal, but I don't think that deck generally plays Felia. I think I'm going to just hit him for 2. And I mean, obviously, if Felia wants a block, we'll take that trade. That's a good trade for us. All right. So the Phantom Daze seems to have kept them from using their mana for a turn cycle. They may have some important spell they really want to resolve. Next turn, we can brainstorm and just go make this otter gigantic if they don't have a blocker. Engineered explosives for 0. That does blow up our squad. That sucks. Yeah, that's a 2-for-1. Well played. And they have the query, which can, yeah, it's a late game card, but it may be relevant. Boomerang Basics would be great. Hydroblast might be okay. I think what I'm going to do here, I just want to brainstorm. I'm not sure that Hydroblast is where we want to be. It's too late to use Tomio, unfortunately. We could play her next turn. They are likely playing Pyroblast in their deck, so we would need to like chill and defend her. What I think we do is if they tap out of this next turn, then I'll just stick her. I think I'm just going to shuffle her away, though, and I'm going to focus on getting a big mark out. I'll put back Tomio and a cantrip. We're going to shuffle. Like, our deck is so cantrip heavy. I'm really looking for like a Boomerang Basics or another Stormchaser talent so I can get a creature out. Because right now I'm cantripping, but I'm not actually accomplishing much with it. I'm going to always lead with the Ponder here. Oh, this is actually not that bad. I'm going to put the island on the bottom. I think I just wasted Crocus. Did I already play an island this turn? I may have. Yeah, I think I'm going to actually bin this. I don't think this is the axis we want to fight on. Okay, we did draw a land here. I think the correct thing to do is just to chill for a turn cycle, and then we hold up. We have Pyroblast in case they have Raptor. And then next turn we can regrow something, but I most likely am just going to jam a Merc with Blast Protection. Yep, this is scary. I can kill the actual Planeswalker, though. They may tap this to sacrifice something, create the Planeswalker, and then I can kill it because it's red. Yeah, it looks like they're doing it. White mana unlocked. They should use the ability immediately. They do. Okay, I'll wait and see what they do, and I'll just end step blast. I'll take this. All right, there was enough energy to trip it. So now we have to take the 3 every turn. Okay, now they have red up. Yeah, I'm gonna just blast here. I'm feeling very far behind. Okay, so we can kill this, and then we can Merc and we'll have even more. And then if they have a plow, it's pretty annoying. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and ponder first too. Well, no, let me fetch, and then I'm just going to make this a giant Merc. And we're basically just going to ride the Merc train and hope they don't have a plow. Because if I find a force... Like Boomerang Basics, these are really good cards. I do want the... Yeah, I want all these. So now we kind of have something to do if they kill us. Or if they... So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Full-size boy. They're going to need a lot of energy to get through this guy. I can always equip this and just make him even bigger if it becomes clear they don't have removal. I think they likely just have a plow. This is the Raptor. Yep, that's scary. This is a great card. Abandoned Modern, it's so good. Amped Raptor. Okay, so they have 2 Amped Raptors. They can potentially tempo me even with me hitting them with Murktide. Okay, this game is over. I don't think we're coming back. So they prison my dude, and then they just it's pretty easy to kill me in 2 turns. Okay. So on the play, they respected Daze, even though I didn't have it in my deck. I do want to get Tomio out. I'm thinking about cutting the forces. I'm not sure how dangerous an idea that is, though. Piracy Charm, I think, is actually really good here. Yeah, I'm not going to play the Dazes if they're going to respect them without me playing them. Actually, on the play, though, it probably is better to have Daze than Force. I think I'm going to do that. They'll respect it, but like, I'm not going to give them room to respect it, if that makes sense. I'm going to be trying to hit them hard. Most of their must counter spells are red, like the Raptor and the Pyroblast. I think I'm going to take out these Preordains. I'm actually thinking about dropping a Planisphere, just because we're on the play where we've got Dazes in. I've actually been thinking about going down to 3 of them in the main deck anyway, so this will be a trial of that. Just because, like, this and Merc are great, but we don't need, like, the 2-drop slot is kind of crowded a bit, because we're really wanting to cast a lot of cantrips. Preordain has overperformed this league for me. I think it is a legacy playable card. I'm going to go down to 3 Tamios. I don't know. Flipping Tamio is so good, though. It is going to be harder to defend her, but I think their main answer, they have Static Prison. Actually, they have Static Prison. You know what? I'm going to take the Tamio out. I don't think she's where we want to be. And I'm going to be more aggressive. And I'll keep 1 Force in. Yeah. I'm going to try to go for their life total. With Static Prison and Pyroblast and Caracas, I think that's enough to make Tamio not a great rip. Okay, this is just cantrips into a late Murktide. I'm keeping this. We have Daze to Protect. We have Dismember. This is a great hand. So I always fire off the Preordain first, because it's the weakest cantrip, and then I can say Ponder. Like, what I'm looking for probably is a Wasteland. If you can hear my son, he's playing piano in the background. Original compositions. He does not like playing his... they have like the, what is it called? The music conservatory songs that he has to play to like go up the levels and stuff. He doesn't like those. Okay, this is a sideboard card plus a Planisphere that we probably don't have time to deploy. I'm going to put the Planisphere on the bottom. I'm going to keep the Hydroblast. And then next turn, I'm going to Ponder for a land. Unless I Daze. But I doubt I'm going to Daze. Like, I will absolutely Daze a Guide. Okay, perfect. This is a good use of Daze. Because now I can hold my Dismember for a later creature. All right, Stormchaser's talent, get in there. And then I can Ponder next turn. So I'm technically shields down if they have a Ajani here. But I can kill the Ajani with Dismember, and I just have to face the body. Raptor would be really scary here. Double plane, so we don't have to worry about Raptor. Another guide. Do you have the Pride? No. All right. So I need to Ponder into a land. Just kidding, I drew a land. Well, here's what I'm going to do. Start by dismembering this dude. Bye-bye. You're too good to live. Too good for this world. And you might have said, oh, you could have done a combat trick or something like that, but that's not really my style. I like to be generous with my opponents and just assume they're not going to make bad decisions. Okay, this is really cracked, actually, because we have Boomerang Basics for this. We can draw some cards. I'll put the Daze in my hand now. And we'll hit him with our Flip Delver Power. Not bad for a 1-1 that we're going to bounce. And he's going to have a brother. The Otter Brothers. Come on, get desperate. Do something into my Daze. They have got to be anxious about playing a second land. If they waste my waste, I'm totally fine with that. They can't get a red source with that. So I want to give my opponent some credit. I think playing the 3-color deck was a mistake, and the meta never should have really moved there. I think this is inherently a 2-color deck. And I think my opponent is just playing the 2-color version, which I would argue is the superior, more responsible version. Okay, so we should Boomerang Basics first. We get a trigger. Okay, and we're going to keep them off of Surveil here. I'm not going to use that mana, but I am going to keep them off Surveil. I'll just hit for 2. Because they may be like kind of color screwed, and they're really wanting to Surveil here. Okay, so I think this is worth killing. And the way I'm going to kill it is I'm just going to waste this, and then if they activate, then I'll Daze. I think it's worth... Like Felly is so powerful that I think it's worth it. And that was costly, to say the least. But Felia is just a really strong creature, especially if they get like Caracas out. It becomes a total pain to kill her. Okay. And I haven't done that trick. I don't like doing it. It feels really negative because we just like kind of wasted a Wasteland. And now they got red, but yeah. It sucks. It was a bad situation, but Felia is just too strong. You have to respect her, in my opinion. Okay, and they had red anyway, so it didn't really matter. So the Raptoring, we're probably going to lose here. They've got Raptor into something else. Static Prison. They play with Static Prison. They get rid of our dude. That's not a big deal. So this was not that big of a thing. I don't really care that much about that guy. What I'm worried about is like long term. Okay, so they have mana up. They could have another Felia, which would really suck. I could Piracy Charm this. I don't think that's correct. I think the correct thing to do is ponder for Force or a Daze, or probably a Force. I have one Force in my deck. These cards are fine. I do want the second land. Planisphere might be a path out. Yeah, I mean, I'm not happy with our current situation, but I felt like I had to deal with Felia. Again, she just goes completely crazy. You can imagine, well, I guess actually this doesn't trigger unless you cast it. So we're going to let this go. We can drop a big Merc, but we can't defend the Merc. Voice of Victory. Okay. So we're under pressure, but Merc is going to be huge. What is this? Synth Eradicator. This is a powerful card. It's got haste. We might have to Pyro this. Hydro this. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and deploy the Merc just so they have to attack into it. What is this? How does this work? Exile the top card of your library. You get 2 energy. We're under so much pressure now. If you don't, you may play that card this turn. Okay. Okay. So they're probably just going to take the energy. Yeah. So we take 5. We're at 10. Or, yeah. All right. I think this is just like a do or die. Like, let's take the Merc and hope that it slows them down. 1, 2. This is a really bad matchup. I'm never going to dismember. I might ponder. So I'll leave that there. This is an 8/8 boy. I mean, it's 2 swings, but they've got a lot of offensive here. I can deploy stuff. Let's see. How does this work? This deals 3 damage to any target. They have to tap it. So I think this next turn is probably Stormchaser's Talent and Piracy Charm. Like, if they attack with Voice of Victory, I will block it. They'll do 2 damage. They could just go all in and do 8 damage, get us to 2, keeping us away from being able to kill them. And then all I would be able to do is block the Voice of Victory there. If they have a Plow, the game's over. If they have a Blast, the game's over. They have a Query, which can bring back Felia. Yeah, that's a very powerful draw. I can just Boomerang the token, Piracy one of the tokens, but they're still going to have so much power on. What I probably have to do is blast this. Like, the best draw would just be an island because it gives me 1 more spell I could cast this turn. Yeah, they're going to get back Felia, I think. Oh, they're getting back Guided Souls. They have so much energy they can do a lot here. Yeah, so this gives them 2 energy and 2 life. And they're going to be able to do 3 damage here when they hit me with this. But let's see. This can do 3 damage to any target. They will get 2 extra energy here. Okay, they're opting to attack with this too. Let's see what they exile. If it's a Plow, the game's over. Okay, so they get 3 triggers of Guided Souls. They can only use this 1 time. Hopefully, if they put it on this, then I'll just Pyroblast that. Yeah, I was going to Pyroblast that anyway. All right, are we dead? So the maximum life savings here puts 2 energy counters on. Okay, so let's take a look. So we're looking at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So exactly lethal. If we block here, we drop to 1. Then we can't fetch if we draw a fetch land. That's notable. Also, they've gained life. So I Boomerang Basics this. Pyroblast this. I have to Pyroblast this because it can do 3 damage to me and kill me. I think I do block the Voice of Victory. Blast here. Or, yeah, Basics here. Blast here. They've got this left. And this can't attack through my Merc, and then I can chill for a turn cycle. I think that's the line. I hope I'm not miscounting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'll go to 1. That's the line. I'm sticking with it. They can draw a card off this. So we're 1. Okay. Planisphere. I would love to deploy that. I'm going to go ahead and I need to kill this immediately. Boomerang Basics. They still have 1 card in hand. It could be like a blast. They can just immediately tap this as soon as it untaps, so I do have to kill it. It's a forced play. It sucks being at 1. No attacks. Them gaining life, like, I'm still 2 strikes away if I can clear this. But they would have to rip 2 duds in a row. And I don't know what their last card is. It could be a land. At this point, even a Galvanic Relay would kill this. A Johnny. They don't necessarily have a way to flip him. Oh, they do. Okay, so that kills this. Then he flips, and then he can deal damage directly to me. Yeah, good games. Well played. Yeah, I think this is a really rough matchup. And my opponent plays very well. And they were on the responsible 2-color version that doesn't splash the 3rd color. But we still got a 3-2. Let's take a look at the list. So I did feel myself drawing more threats than I needed to. Like, at the end of the day, the real threats in the deck are Murktide and Tamio. And these are kind of like along for the ride. So I feel like we could probably trim that and go up one of these. This was good throughout the entire league. Sideboard felt great. 4 Dismember. It may seem like painful, like we did a ton of damage to ourselves, but I think it's fine. We did the Boomerang Basics Stormchaser talent many times. We won a game against, a very bad matchup, that red-white tokens deck, on the strength of, I think we were able to tech up like Stormchaser talent. I think we were able to boomerang that and get a card and get an extra dude and get some, like, it's kind of like a 3-for-1, right? So you play it, they deal with the token, then you Boomerang Basics, get a card, and then you replay it, and then you get another dude. And yeah, it feels like an extremely good value play. And what I love about this is it costs almost no mana. It's just 1 blue mana for everything, right? Like, and Legacy ultimately comes down to mana efficiency. So I think this is the build that I'm going to run. I'm going to run it through another league. I like the sideboard a lot. Piracy Charm did come up in giving unblockability that one game, which was sweet. We didn't actually face any Bowmasters that it had to kill, thankfully, so we got lucky in that regard. It could be that we need another one of these and 1 fewer Force Negation, but I don't know. Like, Force Negation is so strong. All right, I'm going to leave it there. This is a real blast of a deck to play. I hope you pick it up. It's like $400. Like, you don't have to get like the fetches. Like, you can just get the cheapest version of the fetches, which have been printed so much that they're like $10 each now. I saw Wasteland for less than $10 on TCG Player, like some random, different like full art version. So this deck is extremely cheap to pick up, and it will teach you a lot of fundamentals. It's basically a Delver deck, but you don't have to worry about getting Wastelanded. And so it's not quite as difficult to play as Delver, and it's a great entry point to the format. If you want a Legacy power level deck that does powerful things, gets to leverage powerful non-modern cards like Force, Daze, and Wasteland, but with the modern threat suite. Oh, and the Cantrip suite. Yeah, modern doesn't have those. But overall, I love this deck, and I am going to strongly recommend you give it a try. It's a lot of fun. I would love, like, a lot of people might be like, why not put Delver in there? I just don't think Delver's that good, frankly. Like, it dies to Bowmaster. It dies to, like, basically every form of removal. If you're going to play it, it doesn't synergize with Boomerang Basics. So you could, like, take out the Planispheres and play it, but you wouldn't want to take out the Stormchaser talent, because that's like the whole point of this version. If you want, you could play Delver, mono blue Delver, but it's a different deck, and I don't think it's as good, frankly. But INF has played it before. It never historically has been like a real presence. Like, you'll see it top 8 maybe once a year in a major tournament. You'll see it in like the 5-0 trophy dumps that on MTGO or on MTG Goldfish occasionally. But I think this is the kind of innovation we need, where we've got 2 engines. We've got Stormchaser talent, which can get cards later, creates a body separate from itself. It's 2 permanents for 1, which is a big deal in Legacy. And then we have this Boomerang Basics that, like, if we draw it, it's an extremely compact, low cost low stakes combo, and both these cards are fine independent one another, but together they're incredible. And I think Boomerang Basics came up over and over again, just bouncing problematic tokens out of the way. It's a 1-mana removal spell, and blue desperately needs this removal, so desperately they were playing Dismember, right? So, and Piracy Charm, my goodness, this is, I can't think of any format where this would be played other than Legacy, other than specifically for a problem like Bowmasters. So I'm going to leave it there. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.